Every day of our lives we use material extracted from the earth. These resources help us work, communicate, transport ourselves and the essential goods we consume, and generally improve our quality of life. In this era of global communication, mobile phones play an essential role. More people probably have a cell phone these days than a toothbrush. Indeed, studies suggest that 75% of the world's population now have access to one of these. And in every mobile phone there's one common ingredient, nickel, and that's a fact. Goods and materials containing nickel are everywhere, from pots and pans to medical equipment, from houses to offices to electrical transmissions. We depend on nickel every day. Nickel is not the only essential material to our modern life. There are many others. How important is transportation? Cars, trains, buses, they're all essential for getting from A to B. Copper is also an essential component of many of the things we take for granted. Cars, electrical wiring, musical instruments, even the Statue of Liberty, they all require copper. It's everywhere, and that's a fact. Then there's energy. Power, in particular electricity, is at the core of all economic activity. It's essential for our comfort and our progress. Without power, a nation's development is impossible. Modern life would be unimaginable without electricity. We need it to light our houses and our factories. We need it to illuminate the streets where we live, shop and eat. What would we do without electricity to heat and to cool our offices and to power the equipment we take for granted at home and at work? In this programme, we're seeking those who go above and beyond what's required by law. Those who are fighting to protect the environment and give something back to the community. Those who are committing to a better and more sustainable future. To illustrate this point, we've chosen to look at Indonesia, the world's fourth most populous nation. Taxi! Indonesia continues to be a significant player in the global mining industry, producing high levels of copper, coal, gold, tin and nickel. Yet, the mining industry also faces many challenges, including conflict with local people, overlapping land issues, industrial unrest, and of course, environmental concerns. Yet all things considered, the mining industry is still a positive force for change.
As everyone knows, I believe that Indonesia is located in the middle of a ring of fire. Usually, when that happens, a country usually possesses a lot of deposit of minerals and energy as well as fossil fuels.
Indonesia has a 6% economic growth for the past few years, and to fuel this kind of growth you need a lot of energy. And one of the main sources of energy, of course, is the energy derived from the extractive industry, mainly coal.
Improving access to electricity is an important element in modernizing and moving Indonesia forward. Coal represents 41% of electricity produced. Minerals are everywhere, often hidden away. But they're essential for everyday life, especially coal, which, whether we like it or not, plays a crucial role.
mining is part of our civilization and basically has helped to contribute to development our civilization. And if you look around here in the background, skyline of Jakarta, all buildings, infrastructure, road, everything what we use day by day is basically a mine product. And more importantly, there's no substitute for mine product.
But coal comes at a cost. Mining, by its very nature, is an extractive industry, taking materials from the earth which are irreplaceable, but which we also depend on in our everyday lives. In this documentary, we'll explore directly, on the ground, how we can minimize the effects of mining for the environment and for the people. So we're going to gather as much information as possible here on the ground. We're going to talk to government officials, to NGOs, and to companies who are striding forward. Two companies have agreed to open their doors to us. One is ITM Holdings of Kalimantan, and the other is Bantry Corp of Southeast Sulawesi. We're going to see what they've been doing well, but more importantly, what they plan to do in the future. Significant changes are happening in the mining industry. Sharing the wealth was not always the way it is now. This is how it was done in the past.
If we compare with 10 years ago, all the cities nearby where all the mining activities are becoming a more populated city, becoming a more advanced city. Income per capita is also increases, and there is more activities than just farming and fishing.
The mining industry has made $2.4 billion US, has 180 million employees. The mining industry is growing up very fast. All the investors will be come to Indonesia should be pro-growth, pro-job, and pro-environment.
So what is the view now of the provincial government on the positive aspects of mining?
Kita akui bahwa dengan adanya pengelolaan tambang ini memberikan juga dampak yang sangat positif bagi pembangunan nasional maupun juga pembangunan daerah.
Well, now we've heard from the central and regional governments, I want to find out what that really means on the ground. I'm going to talk to Mr. Nur Alim, who's head of the village of Sukadamai.
Setelah ada perusahaan, ya masyarakat kita tidak jalan kaki lagi karena perusahaan menyiapkan namanya jemputan anak sekolah, ya transportasi. Termasuk juga namanya pembangunan, bantuan-bantuan fisiknya, bagian daripada juga perusahaan. Kita sharing dengan perusahaan. Ya, dan pengadaan buku, pengadaan baju, terus beasiswa bagi masyarakat yang tidak mampu dengan yang berprestasi.
So what does it mean for local people to have access to job opportunities? What sort of difference does it make to their life? How does it improve things?
Perkembangan yang nampak dengan adanya tambahan di sekitar sini, yaitu bertambahnya, meningkatnya pendapatan masyarakat, baik yang bekerja di perusahaan maupun yang tidak bekerja di perusahaan.
Saya jujur saja itu sangat menyedihkan. Apalagi waktu itu saya belum punya lapangan kerja apa-apa. Keseharian saya tidak ada, pekerjaan saya tidak ada. Saya hanya tinggal di rumah yang boleh dikata kurang layak untuk ditinggali. Ketika datang angin begitulah.
Many families in Indonesia need to travel overseas to find work. A typical example is Pak Halan Ali, who's 41. He's worked in Malaysia for 8 years on a cucumber farm to provide for his family. But with the arrival of PT Tekenindo, he can return home.
Kami mendapatkan uang ini hasil penjualan tanah kami yang kebetulan ada perusahaan PT Tekenindo yang masuk. Jadi hasilnya itu kami membangun walaupun bertahap, yang selebihnya kami simpan di bank.
But mining isn't just about those who work in the industry, it's also about creating opportunities for those who work outside it. Interestingly, mining is making quite a difference for small entrepreneurs.
Baru kelihatan sudah ada peningkatan keramaian gitu. Ada ramai sedikit lah karena baru ini baru masuk ini tambang ini.
One of the significant challenges is how to ensure that these communities are self-sufficient afterward. One way of doing this is by introducing vocational programs such as farming and agribusiness.
Cukup lumayan, soalnya kami bisa mengasih lapangan kerja bagi karyawan-karyawan yang tidak ada kerjaan, kami bisa mengasih kerjaan. Ya cukup lumayan untuk menghidupin keluarga, juga bisa menyekolahkan anak. Banyak berubah. Mulai dari nol, sekarang bisa sudah ngambil karyawan. Mula-mula kan sendiri, sekarang bisa sudah mencapai 6 orang, sudah banyak cukup sudah. Banyak membantu.
Innovative companies like ITM also provide microfinancing to local people to help them set up small businesses and generally improve their life.
If you can see that microfinance is not just only to support in short term, but the rationale behind is that if they can expand and all the activity they can survive, so that will be like the foundation for the long term. But if like no one support them, they may don't have a chance to expand to be the bigger activity.
Biasanya sih usaha kecil menengah ke bawah. Bisa usaha mungkin seperti bensin eceran, terus untuk pedagang kecil-kecilan ada. Salah satunya usahanya mereka jauh lebih lancar dari sebelumnya karena mendapatkan modal dari kita.
Some Indonesian communities in extremely remote areas continue to live in poverty. Here, illegal mining still poses problems and represents a major challenge for the government. It also weighs heavily on the environment. Although it's hard to establish just how widespread it is today, reports suggest that in the mid-1990s, there were approximately 77,000 illegal mines in Indonesia, with around 465,000 employees. With more official IUP holders, it's possible to overcome this problem through providing employment and education.
Kebutuhan dasar ya adalah kebutuhan infrastruktur, kemudian pendidikan, kesehatan yang sudah diberikan oleh pemegang IUP ataupun perusahaan tambang yang ada di sana hanya sebatas seperti peningkatan jalan, kemudian pemberian beasiswa, kemudian mungkin CSR yang lain seperti misalnya bantuan tentang bagaimana kelompok ekonomi yang ada di daerah itu.
Memang sedang kita hadapi saat sekarang ini adalah yang pertama adalah infrastruktur. Kita belum memiliki infrastruktur yang sangat bagus, kita belum memiliki jalan yang baik, kita belum memiliki pelabuhan-pelabuhan yang representatif.
In remote and far-flung areas of Indonesia, mining can play an important role in connectivity and infrastructural improvements, such as roads, ports and bridges. It brings people together, literally building bridges between communities.
Sumbangan perusahaan terhadap daerah ini itu cukup banyak. Di antaranya adalah perbaikan jalan, jembatan, begitu pula ikut berpartisipasi dalam pembangunan tempat ibadah seperti masjid dan gereja. Begitu juga kami ikut aktif berpartisipasi dalam hal kegiatan-kegiatan atau menyumbang untuk kegiatan-kegiatan pendidikan maupun kegiatan kebudayaan.
Infrastruktur termasuk pembangunan ya kantor ini adalah bantuan Indominco, gedung pertemuan adalah bantuan Indominco, prasarana jalanan dari Indominco.
Around 55% of Indonesia's 240 million people live in rural areas with limited access to healthcare. Traditional ways of delivering babies are common, but without medically trained healthcare professionals, there are more maternal deaths. ITM is playing a key role in the community by providing better healthcare and reducing mortality.
Kalau kita mengacu pada 10 besar penyakit, kejadian-kejadian yang sering kita alami di sini, karena kita kebetulan jalur lintas raya, semua pusban kita juga terletak di pinggir jalan lalu lintas, di samping juga program kegiatan unggulan kita adalah bagian kesehatan ibu dan anak, ada juga support untuk gizi, yang kita inginkan juga ada bantuan untuk alat-alat emergensi.
Ya, kalau melihat dari saat ini, itu untuk penurunan angka kematian pada bayi itu terjadi penurunan. Tetapi kalau toh memang ada, berarti itu diakibatkan karena pencatatan kita yang udah mulai bagus, teknik pencatatan dan pelaporan kita yang udah mulai bagus, makanya ada terdata beberapa bayi yang kalau memang ada yang meninggal. Tetapi dengan adanya kelas ibu itu secara otomatis menambah tingkat pengetahuan ibu mulai dari ibu hamil, kemudian ibu menyusui, kemudian ibu yang mempunyai bayi.
Education is a significant vehicle for poverty reduction, and Indonesia's future depends on it for social change and economic prosperity. Millions of small farmers, farm workers and fishers are materially and financially unable to tap into 21st century opportunities offered in a country that's constantly creating economic growth. Responsible mining corporations aim to build communities from the ground up. Both work in tandem, with the mining operations meeting many local needs, including education.
Bantry Corporation is a responsible investor. And first thing we do on the ground is that we listen to the people. We analyze their practical needs and immediately begin the process of corporate social contribution. This includes development of local infrastructure, agricultural activities, schools, and many other things. So this is one of our priorities, before and during operational.
We're quite confident that all the activities that have been undertaken at Cabaena Island at Ponkalero have been carried out to the highest industry standards, and that we're confident that the project will be a success.
We now go to talk to headmasters and school teachers of a school in the remote village of Pongalero near PT Tekenindo to see what their opinion is on having mining companies in this area.
Yang menjadi harapan kami terhadap keberadaan siswa kami untuk melanjutkan ke pendidikan tinggi.
Nah, kalau ada pertambangan di sini, anak-anak itu bisa melanjutkan sekolahnya di mana di luar dari daerah ini kan.
Now let's turn our attention to a mining community that's been heavily supported through education from the very beginning of the mine's existence. It illustrates how school and training facilities can make a huge difference to the economic development of an area.
Yeah, for long term, of course, education. Yeah, for the young people, we support them during the learning activity now.
Pendidikan sangat penting bagi anak-anak. Kenapa? Pendidikan itu bisa memacu anak untuk mendapat prestasinya.
Diberi
beasiswa, diberi bis, di ranking, diberi perpustakaan yang bagus, semuanya.
Indonesia's natural habitat and biodiversity are unrivaled. That's why it's so important to preserve this treasure and to cherish it. Today, Indonesia regards sustainability as a high priority. Indeed, environmental concerns now are as much bottom-up as top-down, with civil society, families and individuals all joining together in an effort to protect the environment.
As you know, that our president have already stated for strategy. We call pro-growth, pro-poor, pro-job, and pro-environment. This is the kind of how Indonesian government feel about green economy or sustainable development.
The corporate world too has increasingly embraced green business strategy, doing more to give back to the environment. In an effort to play their part, reduce the greenhouse effect and prevent global warming, Indominco planted 37,000 tree seeds comprising 20,000 tree crops and 17,000 mangroves. This program complemented a local government campaign named East Kalimantan Green, with the theme of One Man, 5 Trees, encouraging every single citizen to plant 5 tree seeds.
It is not just only to grow the tree, but we want to grow the idea to those participants so they will feel the same, that we need to take care, not just only the plant itself.
We really concerned, we really aware with the environmental concern there. So that's why we facilitating the people, the community there, the local government, local university to participation with us. So we hope that this activity can inspiring the other company as well to do as what we did.
Sustainability and greening have also had a positive effect by changing the mindset of people within the community, who now see the value in recycling and making a living from it. There is a significant demand for energy in Indonesia today, with many investors and companies looking for alternative sources of non-fossil fuels. Bantry is one mining company doing more to develop renewable power generation from the utilization of rice husk and rice straw biomass.
It's 22 megawatt power plant to be fueled by rice husk and rice straw, which is abundant in this particular area. It's a commercial project of high return on investment, with using high efficiency equipment made by Sumitomo Heavy Industries and General Electric. The project will involve massive participation of locals, because we will be dealing directly with farmers and rice mills. This will have a direct impact on the local economics, because we'll be buying this feedstock from them, which is now being burned. It will be one of the first pilot projects using this particular type of fuel. For Indonesia, as we all know, this might be of big importance, because rice is one of the major agricultural commodities here.
Other junior mining companies, such as KGC, have initiated some extremely innovative initiatives, such as involvement in UNIDO's Global Mercury program through its foundation, YTS. Illegal mining companies use mercury to separate the gold particles, a process extremely damaging to the environment. This latest project has drastically reduced emissions of mercury in many towns and villages in Kalimantan through the use of simple and affordable technology. Since 2007, this move has prevented the release of over 15,000 kilograms of atmospheric mercury emissions.
More recently, one of our most successful projects has been the Mercury Reduction Project. There are tens of thousands of illegal miners in central Kalimantan using vast amounts of mercury. And this project has managed to capture a large amount of mercury that otherwise would have gone into the atmosphere or into the water drainages.
Clearly, there's a lot of work being done already to improve the mining industry. The question is, can we do more? And what's expected from all stakeholders to create a more balanced, fair and sustainable industry? What is their pledge to the planet and its people?
Clean, clear and green. Every mining industry here in Indonesia, they have to comply with those three requirements.
We're not short-lived investors, so we stay here for long, maybe forever.
The environmental is one of the areas that we focus with. We are thinking about planet. We should act as a good example to show to the other people as a good example that we really serious with it.
We commit to protect the biodiversity and the forest, to make sure that all of the biodiversity should be in the forest and not become the history.
We at Bantry are committed to protect and cherish the environment, to protect and give more opportunities to the Indonesian people.
Bantry Corporation dalam hal ini PT Tekunindo berkomitmen untuk meningkatkan kesejahteraan masyarakat melalui bantuan di government relation, begitu juga company social responsibility. Dan itu telah kami bicarakan dengan tokoh-tokoh masyarakat di sini dan kita tetap akan komit untuk itu.
Our policy is go together with the community, grow together with the community, and finally sustainable for life.
We as an industry are committed to transferring the wealth under the ground into intellectual wealth for the prosperity of the nation.
With the mining industry now committed to improve the way it goes about mineral extraction in Indonesia, it's up to the people to hold the mining companies accountable, economically, socially, and environmentally.
This is our commitment.
This is our commitment.
This is our commitment.
This is our commitment.